Today, we're really getting into something important for, well, pretty much everyone eventually. Healthy aging.
That's right. Specifically, how to stay strong, stay independent, especially as we hit those 65-plus years.
Exactly. And we've got some great sources lined up, articles, guides, all focused on things like keeping muscle strength, dealing with common physical stuff like leg cramps.
And crucially, the role nutrition plays for older adults. It's foundational.
So our mission today, cut through it all, pull out the key stuff, the actionable bits for you.
Yeah, think of it as a roadmap, helping you understand how to navigate the changes that come with age so you can keep living that full, independent life you want.
Okay, let's jump in.
Right. So the big message from all these sources, yes, your body changes as you age. It's natural.
But it doesn't have to take over.
Exactly. It doesn't have to overshadow the good stuff. It's really about actively managing those changes, understanding them.
So you can stay in control, stay independent.
Precisely. Doing the things you love.
Okay, so one of the big challenges the sources point to is losing strength, that feeling of less energy.
Yeah, loss of strength, energy, vigor. And a lot of that, according to the CDC and Tufts source, comes down to muscle loss.
Sarcopenia, they call it?
Sarcopenia, that age-related muscle loss, often driven by inactivity. It really drives home that use it or lose it idea.
Especially true for muscle as we get older, it seems.
It really is. But here's the good news. The opportunity.
Right. The sources don't just point out the problem.
No, they offer real solutions, evidence-based ones. That CDC Tufts guide, Growing Stronger. It positions strength training as a key strategy, not just an option, but fundamental.
And the benefits sound like they go way beyond just muscle, right? It touches on almost everything.
Oh, absolutely. The source lists so many benefits. Building and keeping bone and muscle mass, obviously key for strength and independence.
Which is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
But then there's preventing and managing chronic conditions. Things really common in older adults.
Like what specifically?
Well, arthritis, osteoporosis, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, even chronic back pain. Strength training helps with all of those.
Wow. All right.
And it doesn't stop there. Mental and emotional health too. Better sleep, more confidence, just a better mood overall.
That mind-body connection is so strong. And you mentioned nutrition earlier. The OSU source ties muscle loss and frailty directly to that too.
It does. It makes that link crystal clear. Sarcopenia, frailty,
Yeah.
They're tied to your nutritional status. You really can't separate the fuel from the structure.
So they work together, strength training and nutrition.
Absolutely interdependent. And here's a key thing the sources point out about nutrition as we age. Your overall calorie needs might dip a little.
Metabolism slows down a bit, maybe?
Right. But your need for specific nutrients, that often stays the same or can even go up.
Ah, okay. So that makes what you eat even more important.
Exactly. Choosing nutrient-dense foods becomes critical.
Yeah.
Getting the most nutritional bang for your calorie buck, so to speak.
Okay, let's unpack that. Empty calories versus nutrient-dense foods. What's the difference in this context?
The OSU source explains it well. Nutrient-dense foods are the powerhouses. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, fish, poultry, beans, lentils, eggs, dairy, or fortified alternatives. Lots of vitamins, minerals, fiber for the calories.
Got it. The good stuff.
The good stuff. Empty calories, well, they give you energy, sure, but not much else. Think sugary drinks, a lot of desserts, refined grains, foods high in saturated fats.
So it's not about banning things entirely, but prioritizing.
Exactly. Prioritizing those nutrient-dense options most of the time. Making every bite count, like you said.
So what are the specific nutrients that older adults, say 65 plus, really need to focus on according to these sources?
Okay, several key ones pop up. Protein is a big one. We touched on it, vital for muscle building and maintenance, fighting that sarcopenia.
But getting enough can be tough sometimes.
Yeah, the sources acknowledge that. Cost of food, maybe issues with chewing or swallowing, sometimes just appetite loss.
And not getting enough protein has real consequences.
It does. Beyond just muscle loss, things like edema that's swelling or even changes in your skin and hair, the recommendation is aiming for about 20 to 30 grams per meal.
Per meal. Okay, what else?
Vitamin D and calcium, the bone health dream team. Crucial for preventing osteopenia, osteoporosis.
Which leads to fractures, a big concern.
A very big concern, especially as we age. So sources, dairy, some leafy greens, fortified foods like cereals or juice, and sunlight helps with vitamin D.
But maybe not enough sun, depending on where you live or lifestyle.
Right. So supplements might be helpful for some, but definitely talk to a doctor first. That's always the advice.
Good point. Next.
Vitamin B12. This one's critical for your brain, your nerves, making DNA, red blood cells. The tricky part here is absorption.
How so?
As we age, our stomach sometimes has trouble extracting B12 from food. Conditions like atrophic gastritis can reduce stomach acid needed for absorption.
Okay, so even if you eat it, you might not get it.
Potentially less of it. It's found mainly in animal foods, or fortified cereals and nutritional yeast. Because absorption can be limited per dose, getting regular intake is important.
Makes sense. Keep going.
Fiber. Super important for digestion, preventing constipation, another common issue. Find it in whole grains, fruits, veggies, beans, nuts. The usual suspects for healthy eating.
Right.
Then there are antioxidants. Things like vitamin C and E, certain minerals, and those plant compounds like carotenoids and flavonoids.
What's their main job?
Protecting your cells from damage over time. There's some suggestion they help with eye health, maybe cognitive function too.
So load up on supplements.
Here's a key caution from the sources. Supplements often show limited benefit and can sometimes have negative effects. The best way, get them from food. Aim for 3 to 5 cups of colorful fruits and veggies daily.
Food first. Always a good rule.
Always. And lastly, but definitely not least, water.
Hydration, often overlooked.
So easily overlooked, but dehydration is a real risk for older adults. Thirst signals can decrease, kidney function changes, medications can play a role, mobility issues.
Even fear of incontinence, maybe. Limiting fluids.
That too. Symptoms start subtle, dry mouth, headache, fatigue. But it can get serious, leading to confusion, muscle cramps.
How can you tell if you're getting enough?
The sources mention a simple urine color check. Aim for pale yellow. But the main message, drink regularly through the day. Don't wait until you feel thirsty.
That's a ton of great nutritional info. But you mentioned challenges like chewing or mobility. Does the OSU source offer tips for those?
It does, very practical stuff. For chewing, swallowing issues. Think soft proteins like yogurt, eggs, cottage cheese. Add moisture sauces, gravies, healthy oils. Soups are great.
Smart. What about taste or smell changes? Food getting bland.
Use herbs, spices, lemon juice, vinegar to boost flavor. Avoid just adding more salt.
And if mobility makes shopping or cooking hard?
Use pre-cut veggies. Prep things while sitting down. Use tools like electric can openers. Weighted utensils can help with tremors. And they suggest maybe talking to an occupational therapist for personalized ideas.
Good resource. What about isolation affecting eating?
That's a big one. They really encourage eating with others. Community meals, potlucks, even virtual meals with family or friends. Connection matters.
It really does. And for digestion issues?
Well, first step they mention is getting more active. Physical activity helps digestion a lot, but if problems stick around, definitely see a doctor or a dietitian.
Okay, so nutrition fuels the activity. Let's swing back to the strength side again. That Growing Stronger guide from CDC Tufts. It's a specific program, right?
Yes, very step-by-step, designed to be practical, accessible, safe, and effective, even if you haven't exercised in ages or have chronic conditions.
But always check with the doctor first, especially then.
Absolutely. That's step one, before you even lift a finger, metaphorically speaking.
So what are those first steps, the prep work?
6 main things. First, check safety. Assess your health. They mention the PARQ, a simple questionnaire. And clear guidance on when you must see a doctor, like with heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes. Also, when not to exercise unstable conditions, new symptoms, doctor says no.
Crucial first step. What's next?
Assess your current fitness. This is a simple self-check. How easily do you do everyday things? Stairs, groceries, housework. How energetic or independent do you feel? It's just establishing your starting point.
Not comparing yourself to others.
Exactly. Then, set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based. Why are you doing this? Less arthritis pain, better balance, playing with grandkids, gardening. Clear goals motivate.
Makes sense. What else?
Get ready. Practical stuff. A sturdy chair, clear space, good shoes, comfy clothes, basic equipment, dumbbells, ankle weights, affordable stuff. And how to store them safely.
Okay.
Then schedule it. Consistency is key. Aim for maybe 3 non-consecutive days a week for strength, or split it up more. Put it in your calendar, like an appointment. Find a buddy if that helps.
Treat it seriously.
Yes. And finally, exercise safe and smart. Listen to your body. Know the difference between normal tiredness and pain or illness. Safety first, always.
All right, so you're prepped. How does the actual exercise program work? You said it starts gentle.
Right. It's a 3-part progression. Build strength gradually. Part 1 is the starting point, focusing on learning the moves safely, often without weights at first.
What does a session look like?
Start with a warm-up. Maybe a 5-minute walk, get the blood flowing. Then the exercises. Part I uses body weight, maybe a chair. Things like squats using the chair for support, wall push-ups, toe stands for balance.
Simple things you can do at home.
Exactly. Finger marching, hand grips.
Yeah.
Then as you progress to parts 2 and 3, you add light weights, dumbbells, ankle weights, and more exercises.
They're targeting different muscles.
Yep. Major muscle groups, biceps curls, step-ups on a low step, overhead press, side hip raises, knee extensions, knee curls. Big focus on hips and knees. So important for mobility and balance as we get older.
And form is important.
Critical. Proper form, slow controlled movements, and breathe. Don't hold your breath.
Good reminder. And after the exercises.
Cool down. Stretching. Just as important. Improves flexibility, helps you relax, prevents injury. Hold stretches for maybe 20-30 seconds.
Okay, so you start gentle, learn the moves, add weights. How do you know when to increase the challenge? How do you actually get stronger?
Good question. They use something called the intensity indicator. Basically aim to complete 10 reps with good form.
10 good repetitions.
Right. If you find you can easily do more than 10, maybe 12 or more with your current weight, that's the signal. The exercise is getting too easy.
Time to bump it up.
If you're feeling good, no soreness, no injury, then yes. Consider a slightly heavier weight or slightly harder version. It's about that progressive overload, but safely.
And what if you miss a few days? Life happens.
Yeah, the advice is don't get discouraged. Just restart gradually. Maybe use lighter weights for a bit if it's been a while. Consistency over the long haul is what matters, not perfection.
This really brings it all together, doesn't it? Back to that idea of managing aging, staying independent, nutrition and strength training. They really are two sides of the same coin.
Absolutely. Both vital for keeping your vitality, your function, your independence, especially after 65.
These sources aren't just describing things. They're giving concrete steps, research-backed actions you can take.
Exactly. And small, consistent efforts. They add up. They can make a huge difference physically, mentally, emotionally, letting you keep doing the things you love.
And even that source on leg cramps fits in. Knowing how to manage common issues like that stretching, talking to your doctor about options, it's all part of feeling empowered, isn't it? Staying active.
It really is. Feeling capable, feeling confident in your body. That's what it's about.
So this deep dive really highlights how much control we actually have. Maintaining muscle, getting the right nutrition, following a safe exercise plan. It's all doable.
These aren't just tips. They're genuine opportunities. Opportunities to be proactive about aging, to protect your vitality.
So here's something to think about, just for you listening. How could really focusing on fueling your body well, like we discussed, and consistently adding some simple strength movements a few times a week, how could that change your daily life, your long-term independence?
Which is one small step, one thing from our discussion today that you could genuinely commit to trying this week.